Well, hello and welcome to this episode of I Ask You First. I'm Glenn Bryant, your guest host. Uh, alter ego, the Grand Poobah or whatever. Joined today with by Will, just like every episode. Um, Hope 2024 was good to you, but I hope 2025 is better for you. Um, I just really do. So let's get started.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. What about you?
No, Hey, what are you doing?
Hey, what are you doing?
Golly, we got this whole backstory, and we have messed it up so many times. We're only in episode three. We'll iron out all the kinks at some point.
All right. Hey, what are you
Um,
doing?
hey, what are you doing?
Hey, I asked you first.
Ah, cool,
Nothing much.
cool. Hey, the promo to start was solid. On a scale of 1 to 10, we'll give it like a 6.2. Room to improve,
It's
but
like,
off the cuff, especially considering you said you had nothing. I think
yeah,
we can
yeah,
grow.
have nothing. But I really do hope that 2025 is better for everybody. Not that 2024 was bad.
It was
Um,
rough at times.
it depends on your perspective. If you're an Alabama football fan, it was awful.
Yeah,
But if you don't base your life on college football and especially
I,
fandom of the
I wouldn't
Crimson
even
Tide,
I wasn't even worried about college football. There just were stretches of 24 where it was like, oh
yeah,
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 but that's comes to stretch. Years will sneak up behind you and sucker punch you in the face sometimes. Um,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is a funny
yeah,
visual. The little from
yeah,
behind sucker punch.
yeah.
And sometimes you do that to yourself. But um,
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
get into the illustrations of all that later. I have a agenda today. You've had no
Well,
hand
all
in
right.
you've had no hand in today's agenda.
Which which
Agenda.
is which is actually which
I'm
is
going to say
actually
that one more
scary to
time,
me.
and I'm going to get it right this time. Agenda. You've had no hand in today's agenda. I don't know who Agenda is, but I hope that all hands are off her.
Yeah,
Um, so, Dad, to start off, every year it's common for people to set New Year's resolutions.
that's correct.
So, I want you to give me just off the top of your head as we get started today. What do you think some of the most common New Year's resolutions are?
Oh, I actually looked some of this up. This year, the most common resolution, if I'm not mistaken, is to save money.
Okay.
It depended on which website you looked at as to who said which was what was what. Now, typically speaking, the top five are things like quitting something or losing some weight or getting better at something. So,
Mm-hmm.
typically speaking, folks want to quit smoking, quit drinking, quit whatever,
Yeah.
or they want to lose a habit or they want to lose weight. And those are typically, in the top four or five things that people want to do. I was kind of shocked that people would say in 2025 they wanted to save money. But everybody's got their own thing, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
How bad did I miss it? How bad did I
not
miss
awful. So
on
the
the?
first one, save money. The second one, I got my list from Statica, but that list matched the one from the
Yeah,
AP.
yeah.
Um, so save money, eat healthier, exercise more, lose weight. Then the next one was spend time with loved ones. The next one was quit smoking. Um, and then the last one was spend less on living expenses.
Huh.
Um, but 41% of people who answered that poll said they don't set New Year's resolutions. Which leads me to my second question. How do you feel about New Year's resolutions, and do you set New Year's resolutions every year?
I wouldn't say that I set them every year. I have set some in the past, and I've typically made good on Quitter's Day, which is the second Friday of the new year. This year it's January the 12th, so you got to make it to January the 12th to beat Quitter's Day. Said that the one of the articles I looked at said that 80% of all New Year's resolutions, 80% would be in the review mirror by January the 12th. So I have set some in the past. Like last year, I wanted to retire, so I made good on that resolution. Stuck to it, made it happen. This year,
You made it past
I'm
January the
going to resign.
12th. I don't know
This
that you've retired.
so this year, so this year, my resolution is going to be to go back to work. Just, but
Yeah.
but find what I want to really want to do and do it well, do a lot of it.
Hmm.
Of course, I still have that stubborn, last 25 to 30 pounds that I want to lose. Maybe this year will be the year I get it done. I didn't get started on it real well today.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
What about you? You set any resolutions, or are you a resolution person, or do you think
I I
resolutions are
don't
overrated?
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about New Year's resolutions. I think there's some value to them for sure. My personal belief on New Year's resolutions are, um, I think you instilled something in me that is very valuable, but also very counterproductive for me a lot of the time. And that's the value of don't start something you plan on quitting. Um,
There you go.
and so a New Year's resolution, knowing that they have a high fail rate, um, even with the best intentions, if you can only make it 2 Fridays into the year. Uh, but like a couple years ago, I set out to lose weight, um, and I'm going, almost 2 years strong into losing weight, and I'm right at losing 150 pounds. That's been really cool, but I don't know that I set that as a New Year's resolution. It just transpired right at the first of the year of 23 that started. Um,
I heard about
but
a guy that did that one time. Wound up losing half his body weight, and his wife said he was half the man that she married, so she left him.
well, the benefit of not being married when you lose all that weight
Yeah,
is
yeah.
yeah. Um, so I really don't have like a huge um hold on New Year's resolutions. But if I did have New Year's resolutions, I would do anti-resolutions, and I
Like,
would use
like,
like reverse psychology.
yeah.
So like,
Okay.
if I if I smoked and wanted to quit smoking, I would set my resolution as like, hey, I should smoke more. And then maybe by 2 Fridays into the year, I'd just be so tired of smoking that I would just be done with it.
Smoked out. The Great American
Yeah,
Smoke
all
Out.
smoked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, or and spend less on living expenses. I'm going to spend more frivolously this year.
Yeah. I bet you nobody says that.
No.
I bet not even the 1.2 billion dollar lottery winner this week would say, "Hey, I'm going to set out to spend more on living expenses this year. I want to see if
Yeah.
I can like break the bank." Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it just seems that is not only seems counterproductive, it is counterproductive.
So if you had to set New Year's resolutions for 2025, other than going back to work, um, give me two or three that would be a good one for you. Just like, hey,
So I have some things that I want to get paid off that are some bills that are have been nagging and nagging and nagging. Um, that I want to get them in the rearview mirror and not ever have to pay them again. Um, that's one thing that 2025 when we get together on January the 1st, 2026, I'm gonna say, hey, I paid bop bop bop, and they're in the rearview mirror. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I want to get them done once and for all. Just finally get them behind us. So I guess financial goals is one of the things that I would say that is for 2025. Um, I have noticed that I need to exercise more, but more
Hmm.
rigorously when I do exercise. I was toting Christmas boxes up from the downstairs to the attic earlier today,
Back breaking work,
and
I was told.
Well, can I just, amen. Can I get a witness? Please, somebody testify. So after about three trips up and down the stairs, I noticed that I was not only, that I just really was winded and I need to not be because what I was
Mm,
carrying was not that heavy. And I want to get where I'm not that winded when I carry three or four things up and down the stairs.
that's
What about
that's
you?
fair. Um,
Mine are all boring. I mean, just boring. Um, One thing I want to do in 2024 or 2025 that I did not get done in 2024, I wanted to do it in 2024, but I didn't get it done, is I want to ride my motorcycle from one end of the Notches Trace to the other end, all 424 miles,
yeah,
um, and camp out along the way. Uh, at least, you know, or or be ready to camp out along the way. If it winds up pouring down rain, I want to be ready to whip into the nearest, use my Hilton Honors points. But but if it's not pouring down rain, I think I would would like to ride and camp.
yeah. Um, I don't know. There's some things I want to do more of. Rather than not just trace would be awesome. That sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. Um,
You're welcome to go. If I can schedule it on a time when you can go.
yeah. Yeah. That sounds awesome. I I went hunting again this year. Uh, for the first time in a long time. That was a lot of fun. Uh, I
It's
think
almost turkey season.
yeah. Um, there's always the like thought in the back of my mind where like, hey, that would be fun. I want to um like break 90.
Yeah,
And then I want to break
golf
85,
again.
like playing golf.
Oh, improve your golf
Because
game. Yeah.
I'm right there. I'm right there at 90 every time I play, probably at this point. Um, but like, I don't play enough. I don't hit enough. And so I think if I go another year and I play golf like I did this past year, my goals next year will be to break 120. Um,
Yeah,
and
that would be my goal if I were to play right now. I bought a motorcycle rather than a golf club membership.
yeah. Um, and then there's some other things that I think would be fun to do. Obviously every year it's some form of like broadening your skill set or abilities of um I finally want to learn how to play the guitar or something like that. Um Mine or yours, it doesn't matter which one.
So I believe it. I would if I believe you could probably try to learn to play the saxophone.
No, I don't believe that I could. It's not
You
possible.
don't think so?
I'd have to
We
do some yeah, no, the saxophone's out of the question.
YouTube doesn't have enough beginner saxophone lessons.
Well, no, it just the ability to play the saxophone requires the instrument. And to everybody else's knowledge in the world, I don't have one of those.
Okay.
Yeah, the pseudonym that I will play under if I ever learn how to play the saxophone has one, but I do not own a saxophone.
What are one of those pseudonyms?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
Jazz Buff, Buffy Jazz,
no,
Jazzy Buffton.
it'll probably be some form of precious metal as a last name, and then like a four-letter first name.
So it'll be like Jack Platinum.
Jack Platinum sounds excellent. Just on the smooth tunes of a woodwind instrument. Jack Platinum.
Plutonium. Oh, that's radioactive. Let's see. Precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, titanium.
Ooh, Rick
Tim
Titanium.
Titanium. Rick Titanium.
Yeah,
Tim Titanium.
that's a three-letter name,
That's
unless you use two
I do
M's.
I Timmy Timmy Titanium.
Yeah,
Timi. Timmy. Mm.
Um, okay, so on the stretch of New Year's resolutions, if you had to set three anti-resolutions for the new year, if you were to trick yourself with reverse psychology, what would be three resolutions that you would set with true reverse psychology to get you to do some things that you really want to do in the new year, and how would you phrase them?
I'm going to buy a 300,000, no, a 200, no, $120,000 pickup truck. I'm gonna go buy a completely decked out GMC 4-wheel drive, uh, 2,500 Denali,
Okay,
um, and pay, $1,800 a month truck payment. That's what I'm
sick.
gonna. That's one of my.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to weigh.
Are you sure you're not Rick Titanium?
I'm going to weigh 340 pounds this time next year.
Mm.
Uh, for an anti. How's that for an anti?
I get one box back up the stairs.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one box back up the stairs. I'm gonna
One
I'm gonna
box of
have to
Christmas
tie a
decorations
I'm gonna have to tie a rope and use a pulley to get
to
that
get
box up
yourself
the
and
stairs.
the box back up the stairs.
That's correct. I'm only gonna try one at a time. It's still me or the box, one of the two.
Yeah, yeah. I'm installing a
Yeah,
dumbwaiter system at the house for
straight
Christmas
to the
boxes
attic.
next year.
Yes,
Yeah,
straight to the attic. Yeah, and into the laundry room. I mean, I've got it, already got it figured out where to cut it.
yeah. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Are those? Have I? Am I at three yet?
I think so. I mean,
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
maybe two or
Okay.
three, but two really, really good
And another
anti-resolutions.
thing that back to the real resolutions, I want to do a better job of I've really enjoyed 2024 learning how to do like this type of stuff, the podcasting, the um uh, what do you call it? TikToking, Facebook Reels, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I want to do better. I want to learn more skills and better skills at that. Um, at that, I don't like being ignorant, and so I just want to decrease my level of ignorance on what's out there, and learn to do more types of software.
yeah.
So that I can do a better job of creating better content.
This just in: for the first time ever, white man does not enjoy ignorance.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, yeah. All right,
I want to
so
watch. I want to see more Florida men videos. That's what Florida man videos.
I want you to be able by the end of the year to do a deep dive on the history of the Florida man in a
Okay.
YouTube series. I would
All
love
right.
to see like a 8 or 9
The
part.
code. Florida man code cracked.
Yeah, code crack, emphasis on crack, or the
Yeah.
methods of a Florida man, and just emphasis on
Methods.
meth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. And do it like an 8 or 9 part series. Do like a deep
Yeah.
dive.
Yeah.
Just you at your like workstation, having done the
Explaining.
recording and yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds awesome.
It's-
I can't wait. We'll release the first video sometime around peak Florida man season, which is like the middle of spring break.
There you go. There you go.
Peak Florida man
That's
season.
funny. That's funny. Mm-mm-mm.
So I've got another thing for you, and this is more of a play on words than it is an actual thing about resolutions. But are you familiar with New Year's revolutions?
No, not at all.
Okay. Do you know what New Year's revolution is?
No.
New Year's Revolution is a early to mid 2000s WWE run of pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And it's a play
Okay.
on New Year's resolutions. It was a pay-per-view
Right.
right at the first of the year. The first one was in 2005. And I want to read you the card for the first ever WWE New Year's Revolution. And I want you to just react to the people who are on this card and how you think the matches went. Okay?
Okay.
So you can predict the winner. I will come back afterwards and you can tell me if you're right
And
or wrong.
correct me.
But
Okay.
these happened in 2005. So,
Okay. I was
just,
alive.
yeah. And so I can tell you a little bit about the people who were involved in the matches if you need me to, but I wasn't really watching either, but I've done a little bit of research. And so you just
Did
give
you watch?
me.
Did you find those matches and like watch them on YouTube
Well, I
or
can go
just
back
read
and watch
about
them on. I can go back and watch them on Peacock later. So if any of these interest you, we can sit down later and we can do a watch along on Peacock or something if you want to.
This is
But the first,
something tells me this is along the lines of Ipswich Town being third or in line for relegation in the Premier League.
hey, that sounds. Keep up the table,
Nobody cares
Ipswich.
but me and you, or nobody cares but me, because you obviously don't care. Okay, go
Up the
ahead.
table, Ipswich. Um, I asked you if you knew any of their players the other day, and you said you couldn't name a single one of them. But you've watched three of
Not
their
a single
games.
one.
Yeah.
I've watched three of their games. They
Okay.
lost all three of them. Well, no, they drew. They were in a draw in one of them.
All right. There was a World Tag Team Championship match to open the card versus Tomko and Christian and Eugene and William Regal. In the Women's Championship match,
Are the Regals? Are they brothers?
no, Eugene is a character. That's his name, Eugene.
Okay,
William Regal is. They actually
so it's
played
just Eugene and then William Regal.
Eugene and William Regal.
So it's Eugene and William Regal.
Correct, Eugene and William Regal.
But it's not you. But it's not Eugene Regal and William Regal.
Correct.
Okay, so it's Eugene and or semicolon and William Regal.
We could do it this way:
William
William
Regal.
Regal and Eugene. If that
Okay,
helps you out
all
any.
right. Yeah.
That's the first match on the card. Anything?
Okay, wait.
To that,
Do I do them one at a time, or are you going to
we
give
can
me the
go
whole card and then have to?
because you
Eugene
can.
and William Regal won.
They did. Do you know anything about Eugene and William Regal?
No,
Okay,
but with a
so
name like Eugene and William Regal, they have to let them win.
yeah, because you can't remember who the other two are at this point. We've talked too much about.
That's correct.
Um, Tomko and Christian were the heels in that match, if I'm not mistaken. And Eugene's character was portrayed as a character with special needs,
Oh,
and William Regal was his caretaker.
so we haven't had a Grapes of Wrath moment or a
Potentially.
yeah. Okay, I didn't mean to hurt you, George.
Yep. In the women's championship match, Trish Stratus faced Lita.
Who now? Who was the first one?
Trish Stratus faced the champion at the
Stratus.
time, Lita.
Uh-huh. Stratus won.
Correct.
Yeah, she did so by pulling her hair and gouging her in the eyes.
I believe she hit Stratisfaction for the win.
Yeah, Stratisfaction.
Yeah.
Okay,
In the
I can't.
Intercontinental Champion.
I can't get no Stratisfaction.
Yeah, well, in the WWE Intercontinental Championship match, the champion at the time, Shelton Benjamin, faced Maven.
Yeah, I think the champion stayed on the throne. I don't think. I think Maven got beat.
You would be correct. Maven was defeated by Shelton Benjamin.
So
The
far
match
I'm
was
3 for 3.
Yes, The match was restarted. The original run of match lasted 6 minutes and 8 seconds. The match was restarted. Shelton Benjamin faced Maven. Who won?
Shelton Benjamin.
That would also be correct. That match lasted 5 seconds.
Really knocked him out, huh?
I don't know how it happened. I haven't seen the match yet. Muhammad Hassan faced Jerry Lawler.
2005.
2005. Jerry the King Lawler at this point.
Yeah, Jerry the King Lawler beat Hassan.
That would be incorrect. Muhammad Hassan beat Jerry the King Lawler in a 10-minute and 51-second match.
How in the world did WWE allow a Muslim to win, or a dude with a Muslim name to win one of their matches?
I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure, but in 2005, Muhammad Hassan, who was accompanied by a man, I think Davari was his name at that. He just had one name, and Jerry Lawler accompanied by Jim Ross to the ring. And that match had lasted longer than both the Women's Championship match and the WWE Intercontinental Championship match. Both of them combined their times. The comedy match of Muhammad Hassan and Jerry Lawler lasted longer. That's just to let you know the state of the WWE at the time.
Yeah,
but it was a grudge feud. The King versus Muhammad Hassan.
And I will just about bet you that the intro and the artist walking to the ring took 10 times longer than the match itself.
Oh, I don't know, because that would be 10 times 10 minutes.
So 50 minutes. I would just about bet you they killed 50 minutes of blowing that up to be something that it probably was not.
I doubt it, but maybe an extra 5 minutes of ring entrance for both those guys, because Jerry had an interesting entrance. Kane, the brother of The Undertaker, faced a man by the name of Gene Snitsky. I'll give you some more backstory. This match lasted 11 minutes and 38 seconds. And it was a grudge match over the unborn child of Kane, who Gene Snitsky punted.
Gene Snitsky won.
No, Kane won. It was a grudge match over the unborn child of Kane that Gene Snitsky punted.
Yeah, so, okay, Kane won.
Kane won, correct. The brother of The Undertaker.
Yeah.
That was the match right before the main event. The last match is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Shawn Michaels is the special guest referee. This match will last 34 minutes and 55 seconds, and it is in a match called the Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber works where two men start the match. 6 opponents are in the match total. 6 men are in the match total, but 4 men are put in like pods at the 4 ring posts, and it's in a cell-like structure, and they're only allowed to enter at like 1 minute and 90-second intervals. So
1 minute and 90 seconds.
That's how it was advertised.
So,
at
so
one
every
point.
two,
It was a minute and 90-second intervals. So 2.5 minutes.
Why not just say 2.5 minutes?
I think the guy who was trying to like pitch it was originally going to do 90-second intervals, and then it got extended, and then it wound up being, I think, now is like 3-minute intervals or 4-minute intervals, but still it was 1 minute 90-second intervals. This was one of the first Elimination Chamber matches, if I'm not mistaken. The men in the match are Edge, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Batista, Randy Orton, and Triple H.
Okay. What's the question?
Who won the vacated at the time
Triple
WWE
H.
World? Triple H won. Who did he defeat to win? Because each individual has to be defeated. You have to, in order to win this match, every member of the match has to be pinned. So, in order of elimination, I need you to tell me how they were eliminated.
Can't do it. You'll have to tell me.
Okay, well, Triple
At
H
this
won.
point in time, son, I'm just going to tell you, at this point in time, a more interesting conversation for me would be, and I have no knowledge of anything that takes place, but I was sitting at Patty's house last night, and LaBeth and Patty were having a conversation about Virgin River. And what do you think is going to happen on the next season, and how this last season ended, and all the things that went on? And I mean, both of them had a solid take on what was going to take place on Virgin River next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't tell you, could care less. So you can tell me if you'd like, but at the end of the day.
Well, I don't have to tell you the order in which they were eliminated. Triple H won. Shawn Michaels was guest referee. And
Shawn Michaels was eliminated last, even though
I actually believe
won.
he, lifelong friend Triple H, I believe to end the show, he kicked Triple H in the face and left.
It's awesome. I wish I liked the WWE, but
yeah.
Nah.
I can't believe after reading this and some of the backstory behind it, I can't believe you guys didn't let me watch.
Yeah. I can't either. We deprived you.
All right,
hey, but now you're of age. You can watch whatever you want.
Yeah. Here's some other notable New Year's revolutions. Are you ready for some other notable New Year's revolutions?
Nope.
Well, I'm going to give you some anyways. In January of 1863, an insurrection of 1863.
Okay.
An insurrection took place in Russia's kingdom at the time of Poland.
This is not WWE.
I know, this is New Year's revolutions.
Okay, all right.
An insurrection
so, yeah,
took
give
place
me some other notable, but not WWE.
No, it's just notable New Year's revolutions.
Okay.
I was just giving you the most notable New Year's revolutions before I gave you any of the other ones.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and so this is the January Uprising. Are you familiar with the January Uprising?
Moderately, not overly, but yeah, I've heard of it.
So in the attempt to end Russia's occupation of Poland, an uprising took place in Poland at the time. It was 1863, and it lasted from 1863 to 1864. Historians estimate roughly 15,000 people died in the uprising, and about 1,000 people were executed. Any thoughts? Who do you think won?
Poland won.
Huh, that's pretty interesting. This one is more recent. This is in 2011. This is the Egyptian Revolution. In January of 2011, protests erupted across Egypt, including in Cairo, Alexandria, and Suez. The protests were mostly nonviolent, but there were some reports of civilian and police casualties. The protests targeted the at-the-time government.
The at-the-time government did not retain total control of Egypt at that time.
Yeah, I don't even think you have to. That's not even much of a prediction. I kind of gave it away with the at-the-time government spill there.
Yeah.
Here's
the funny thing about the Egyptian revolution that you're talking about is they replaced the, I don't think they call him a prime minister, but they replaced it with somebody that was exactly the same. I mean, it was like they just in with the old, out with the new. I mean, in with the new and out with the old. They didn't change anything, just the people that were in the positions. So it was kind of they could have done the same thing at the ballot box. I think.
But potentially. I don't know anything about Egyptian politics. I don't know how free and prompt their elections were.
Yeah. Well, they're much better now, but they Yeah, I think that was what they were calling for an election and he wouldn't give them one. So because he liked had keeping it in power.
In 1868, uh,
1868.
there was a uprising in Portugal that is also known as the January Revolution. It was so nice they named it twice. There was no other information available in my quick search.
I and I have not heard anything about an uprising in Portugal.
No. And
I know nothing about Portugal, um, except for I know they speak Portuguese. And your Uncle Mark spent some time there in the Air Force back in the day.
okay. Would you like to tell me more?
I don't know anymore. That's all
Okay,
I know.
just
I just know that
Mark went there once.
went there once, spent some time, probably 6 or 8 months, if I'm not mistaken.
And the last one is around this 1967 January
Hey, that was
storm.
a great year. That was a great year.
Well, there was a uprising in China that is also known as the January
The
Revolution.
January Revolution. Yeah.
Yeah. Part three. Which of the three trilogies do you think was the best?
Probably the Chinese one
Okay.
because it took place in the same year I was born.
Yeah.
A lot of great things happened in 67.
I don't believe in reincarnation, but do you think that there was a little Chinese baby that was killed during the January storm in '67 that reincarnated as Glenn Bryant in San Francisco?
No, I don't. I wasn't born anywhere near Chinatown.
Okay. It's not necessarily. I don't necessarily think it's where you were born.
Do what now?
I don't think it matters where you were born.
Okay. Well, I don't think, I don't even like Chinese food.
There we go. Maybe that's why he was killed. Maybe that little Chinese boy didn't like it either.
Yeah.
He kept
I,
asking his mother and father for hamburger steak, and
they said,
off
I'm not,
off to war with you.
no,
Yeah. Um.
no.
So we'll finish here. After the detailed conversation we've had about New Year's resolutions and some prominent revolutions. Of the revolutions that we've talked about, I think we can obviously say that your favorite was the WWE one, because that's the most engagement I
Vir-
got out of you on any of them.
Virgin River would have been a better topic.
Well, but it's not a New Year's revolution.
No, okay, you're right.
Yeah, and I think there was the least amount of bloodshed in that revolution as well. So unless you just like war atrocities, we can just say that you're a bigger fan of the WWE than you are any of the other revolutions that happened around January that we talked about.
They probably
Um,
the WWE probably has greater entertainment value than any of the other revolutions.
sure, probably.
Yeah.
So to finish today, in the theme of the WWE, in your best promo ability, I need you to give me three predictions for 2025.
Oh wow, wow. Give me an example.
Well, a prediction is something that you think might happen in 2025.
Yeah, I didn't say give me a definition. I said give me an example.
So before yesterday, I would have made the prediction in this segment where in 2025, Will finally get his Tahoe back.
Yeah, but that happened yesterday.
So that would not be a good prediction for 2025. But for you, just three real serious in your best WWE promo. You can channel your inner Macho Man Randy Savage if you want to, or whoever was a great wrestler when you were a kid, maybe Luthez or one of those other guys that wrestled in the early 1900s, and just give us a promo with three predictions for 2025.
Hmm. Yeah, I just don't. I don't have anything. I'm completely devoid.
We can go prediction for prediction if you want to, if that'll make it easier. You just got to give me one to start off with, but I do need you to go first.
This reminds me of a game that I used to play with student athletes that thought that they wanted to swap licks with the paddle. Back in the days when we could still paddle. Jacob Spartman comes to mind. Um, hey, let's swap licks, coach. Okay. He goes, I said, I'll go first. And so I fired him up pretty good. And then I said, hey, you win.
Yeah, no, I think this
I
would be
lose.
fun. I think this would be fun to look back on in about a year, just to see like how close we were. We'll do it this way. We'll go. Give me your safest prediction, a medium prediction, and then the boldest prediction you could make for next year, and we'll scale them out that way.
All right. So here's one. And it's probably not in the WWE promo that you're looking for, but Doge coin will go over $5 this year.
That's your safest prediction for next year.
That I I just really believe it.
Yeah, I sold all of my Dogecoin yesterday.
Did you? At what?
Like 14 cents
35 cents?
at like
Oh no, it was up. Like today it's at 35 cents.
it was like or for $14. It was like 35 cents, but I had like $14 worth of it.
I got you. I got you. And you probably had $5 in
Yeah. Um, I transferred it on Coinbase to Pepe.
it. And how many Pepe did you get for your Dogecoin?
I got thousands of Pepe for my very few Doge in comparison.
That's funny. That's funny.
I haven't checked it today. It's probably
All
doing
right.
awful. But
What's yours? What's yours?
my first prediction for 2025 is this is going to be a oh man, I said I didn't do any preparation for this because I thought you were going to bring a lot of energy to it and like it was going to really spark some thoughts. I didn't think your first one was going to be like Dogecoin. Yeah, I'm really going to be a big. I'm gonna. Dad's cornered the market in this as being the politics and the cryptocurrency guy on this podcast. Um. So, what kind of okay? Easy. My safest prediction for 2025 um is 2025 will not be the year that mom and dad go into a nursing home.
Oh, I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
No, I'm just kidding. That's probably not a safe one. No.
At your hand. Go into a nursing home at your behest.
Yeah, it's not going to be the year that I attempt to put mom and dad in a nursing home.
Yeah,
Um,
okay. That's a probably a safe bet.
yeah, no. I think the safest prediction for me for 2025 will be, 2025 will be the first year in my lifetime, and I'm trying to think of um that not one but two um college football head coaches lose their job in some relation to like a point shaving scandal.
Wow. And I think that's probably a safe. Um, I think that's probably safe. I mean, you watching, if you're watching football, if you watch any football today,
Yeah.
or through the bowl season, there have been some, um, you know, well, just I believe it's taking place, and I'd be remiss to put my finger on an exact.
Well, I won't even go.
Um,
I won't even go college football. I'll go a that multiple head football, basketball, baseball coaches with the prominence of sports gambling, how it's seeping into the market. That multiple head
Seeping,
coaches.
it's a full
Well, just
flow.
but now athletes are advertising it. Like a couple years ago, Calvin Ridley got banned for a year.
Yeah,
Um, but like
for
now,
having an app on his phone.
yeah, DraftKings is having athletes as sponsors, and Shohei Otani and his team
And
in
his
baseball.
interpreter.
But that like point shaving makes a an appearance again, because the last time it was a big deal was like UNLV back in the day had a big deal with it, and then was it Boston College or somebody like that, um, that had something with their basketball program. But I just think that like there will be two prominent coaches in a major sport that will lose their job from some form of point shaving.
So would you say like the University of Alabama baseball coach that lost his job last year would that have been an example
That would have
for
been
you?
one, yeah, because he was
Yeah, he
making
was
bets.
actually he was actually picking uh, he was actually betting on his team based on the information that he knew about the starting pitching staff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I believe that's safe. I mean, I can't help but think that uh, you
that's
know
safer than you not going into a nursing home, I think.
yeah, I think so. I think it'll be more like five.
I don't know that five, because I think that all they need is one, maybe two, and they can
To
send
get
a
the death
message.
penalty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the forever ban like Pete Rose got or something.
yeah, yeah. No show. I, here's another prediction for you. I think that in 2024, a couple of bureaucratic organizations or bureaucratic branches of the government, not branches, but departments of the government, I think will either be disbanded or see major overhaul. I think the U.S. Department of Education will go away. I think it will cease to exist in 2025. I
That's
also
a
think that the
that's
veteran.
an excellent job. I want to compliment you on two things: tying the show together with a nice little bow, um, and also making both of your predictions about Doge.
So the other thing that I think will go away is I think the NCAA will go away. Um, it practically is useless at this point. For lack of a better word, it's a toothless as a governing body. It is absolutely ridiculous. Um, the whatever they say, every court in this land is going to say the opposite. And if they had their way, men would be playing in women's sports right now. I just don't see how it's. I don't see how common sense applies to the NCAA at all.
Yeah,
And I think that people have had enough. And I think there'll be a lawsuit um, brought in on behalf of fans who are sick to death of, because you think about the people that the athletes sued, they won. The colleges sued, they because they are the NCAA, they lost, but that meant more um, freedom for the athletes, and I'm all about athletes having freedom. But at some point in time, um, the portal situation has got to be shorn up, um, solidified, so that because fans buy tickets based on a product that they believe is going to be there. And right now, you don't have a clue who's going to be. If you're trying, the university's asking folks to buy season tickets for 2025, and you don't have a clue who's going to be on your team in 2025, um, because of the portal and the free range of. So I think that the NCAA or whoever, I think there's going to be I think people are going to have to go for at least a 2 year contract to their university, or a 3 year contract to their university, and the universities have at least a way to keep um, their athletes on their roster for a season. Now, whether they play hard when they get there, who knows? But I do think that the freedom that athletes have has made the sport bad, and I believe there'll be a lawsuit on behalf of fans, particularly season ticket holders, box holders, people that actually go to the games and spend money that way. Because you don't have to take but about 3 or 4 schools, and you've got 1 million fans that are season ticket holders. Well, maybe 10 schools, and you've got 1 million fans involved in a class action lawsuit. And I think that that's going to happen at some point in time in some form, and maybe bring some common sense back to the sport. But I think the NCAA's done. I think they're now whether they'll go to a commissioner method. I've heard some talk this weekend about maybe Nick Saban being the commissioner of college sports. I think that's a bad plan.
I've got an opinion about the like having a commissioner. I think that if you're going to do that, you need to name the like of the power. I guess it's power four now. Of one of the major four sports, basketball, football, baseball, and then you go as the fourth sport. You go to the miscellaneous sports. So you tie in men and women's basketball, you tie baseball and softball together, and then you tie in almost everything else under that fourth commissioner's responsibility. And then you name the athletic director or the commissioner of those conferences to that committee, and they sit on a governing body, for lack of a better word, that has to come to an agreement on everything. And then you introduce a relegation type system that has a salary cap. Not
agree with
just
that.
a salary cap, but also a salary minimum in order to play in conferences. So if the SEC comes together under a new commissioner and says, hey, in order to play SEC football, here's the maximum amount of money you can spend on a program. But also, in order to stay in the SEC, you have to be willing to spend at least this much on your football program. And then you're in that conference for just that sport. You can be an SEC school for football, but if you don't want to meet the football or you don't want to meet the high spending requirements of the SEC in order to play basketball, then you join the Sun Belt, or you join the Big Ten, or you join the Pac. You join a conference that aligns with your sports. And then each school has that.
But then there would only be four. What you're describing there would only be four conference. So your national championship, per se, would be from one of those four.
Whoa!
What was that?
You did some air quotes right there, and got a
party. Confetti. I bet I can't do it again.
Yeah, that's funny. That's real funny. You're national champion per se, and then you got a confetti falling.
You're national.
Yeah, keep trying to get it to happen again, please. No, I think that any program from any conference can be awarded the ability to play for the national championship at the Division I level if you're going to play in what falls under the Division I, because basketball has more conferences that are available to play in the national championship than football does. But in order to play in the SEC, which gets you the SEC money, which gets you the SEC TV money, which is going to be the big thing, you have to be willing to pay a certain amount to keep that program up.
And the athletes would make a salary based on that conference.
Qualify
now the
for
athletes
certain
have to commit
types of NIL.
Yes. So the athletes then would need to commit to, and more than just a year, but at least 2 years, to that contract in order for them
Well,
to.
I don't like paying college amateurs and making them require a lifetime or a 2 year contract or whatever. What the stipulation would be, if you're receiving a certain amount of money to go to a school like Alabama or a school like Vanderbilt or whatever, and you decide to not go play at that kind of school next year, you either have to redshirt a year to play at
At another school.
another school at the same level, at the same conference level, so a Power 4 school, or if you want to play in a lesser conference, you have the freedom to go to any conference. So you know that if you're at Alabama and Boise State's not playing in the Big 12, or Boise State's not playing in the. Boise State's probably not going to be able to offer you the same NIL money, but if you go as a freshman and Alabama does you dirty as a freshman and signs 2 quarterbacks in your class, and they don't make as a program the same commitment to you that you're willing to make to that program, because that happened a lot to kids before NIL money.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, I hear what you're
You
saying.
you shouldn't lose your ability to develop as an athlete because people are upset that you're getting paid. What you should do is you should not be able to go then play at Auburn or not be able to go play at Georgia because Georgia just happens to not have a quarterback. If you go play at a lesser conference for a year, then you have the freedom to then go play at a Georgia. But it's more of a bet on yourself kind of, hey, I'm going to take a step back. I'm not going to sign that same NIL kind of money or just limit the kids. You're limited to 2. You get 2 NIL contracts from a school. After that, you're done. So you basically have the chance to transfer once. After that first transfer, it's no more NIL contracts. If you choose to transfer again, you're transferring without the signing of an NIL contract.
Paid by the school.
Paid by the school. Now, if the boosters want to come
If
together, but then you
or
get into
Coke
the
or Home Depot or
yeah,
DraftKings.
but then you get into that you're subverting that, because a school like Oregon, who has a close connection to Nike,
Wow.
could really subvert the cap, ruling that you have if everybody that goes to Oregon gets a Nike NIL deal.
No,
Um,
you're right. I see that.
so you're kind of right back into that. Well, if they're not allowed to profit on their name, image, and likeness, you have to kind of limit how they're able to profit on that. But that's a rabbit hole we can get down into. The
Yeah, we can go down another
the
day.
the prediction of the NCAA not being able to exist, I think we're getting closer and closer to that every year. I don't know that next year's the year, but it will happen soon. I think. I think you're probably right with that.
I do think when the wheels roll off of it, it'll roll off quick. I mean, it'll be just, um, and I think some talks have already been started by the college coaches and college ads and presidents on what to do in its absence
But like
because
Burns
it's
and Sankey, the
SEC
yeah,
and yeah,
the Alabama athletic director. I mean, you could
and
go
the
the SEC commissioner, to a head of a committee that runs a sport, and then Greg Burns into the SEC commissioner's office. Pretty easy, and not mess anything
yeah,
up. Um, because that's kind of how they operate already. Greg Burns, that's the Alabama athletic director, correct?
yeah.
He already does things for the betterment of the SEC more than he does things for the betterment of Alabama, because he kind of sees how
I,
that's going, which is incredible. I think that's very because he knows that if the SEC, the tide rises with all boats. If the SEC does great, then Alabama's going to do great. Um,
yeah, I think the phrase is a rising tide
no,
raises all boats, right?
the tide rises with all boats in that case, and I said what I meant.
Okay. All right. All
Yeah,
right. Play on
yeah,
words. Yeah.
yeah. I
High
know.
tide.
High tide. That's a great commercial.
It is a funny commercial.
All
Almost as
right,
funny as the Nick Saban VRBO commercial.
man. Where he's telling them they can't have any fun.
have some rules.
Yeah,
It's not it's not a spa. No showers over 5 minutes. No fun. No running. No,
yeah.
and he's out there on his John Deere.
That's funny.
Funny.
My next prediction for 2025, we'll go something that won't cause any rants or anything like that. Um, I think maybe we'll try our best um, to not cause any caliber of rants or anything like that. Um, 2025 will be a year where um, news outlets, as a whole, will either transition to a format that that includes most of their daily programming be also live on something like YouTube, or news outlets will start to close. Just based off of the numbers and stuff like that, I would imagine that a place like um, the
Well,
availability.
there's not any there's not any station that does 24-hour live anything now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But so like if a great example would be like, and I'm not the biggest fan of all of his work, but a TV show like Pat McAfee,
Right.
um, that simulcast on ESPN, their main channel, and also is live on YouTube, does incredible numbers every day on
Yeah.
both ESPN and on YouTube.
Yeah. And the
And
reason it
you,
does so well on YouTube and that sort of thing is because, he'll say it live, somebody will see it, and but they can't, but they're working and they can't watch it right then, so they on demand it pretty easy, a lot easier than they can on demand from ESPN.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I can see that.
if a place like
Yeah,
CN,
nothing controversial there.
if a place like CNN or Fox News would take their best, it doesn't have to be every show, but if they would start with some of them, if they would take their best host of a show and they would just live stream to both basic cable or whatever and also to YouTube, they would be able to, because you're missing the audience that's not willing to pay for whatever CNN comes on. Um, if they don't want to have a cable subscription or they don't want to pay for the the certain like subscriptions or
Yeah,
whatever. But
yeah, right.
for YouTube, and they can make connections with the personalities over something like YouTube, and they're not going to miss any money
No,
um,
I agree with that.
because YouTube pays it well if they do well on the numbers. But I think a lot of the time, if they put it on YouTube, they'll realize that their numbers aren't great, and commercials are the only thing holding those programs afloat, and it will cause some. Somebody's gonna have to. I saw where somebody was gonna try to, like, Elon maybe was attached to it at one point, but MSNBC was up for sale. It's crazy. Your last prediction for 2025.
You will meet the woman of your dreams, sweep her off her feet, and make your mother very happy.
Um, I really wish you were gonna make that Dogecoin related. Man, that's the boldest prediction that you have of any of the lot. Um, man, that's a lot of fun. I really appreciate you making that prediction. Um, mine mine wasn't gonna be as bold. My bold prediction was just gonna be that maybe I'll go on a date this year. Uh, get my numbers up. Um,
That's funny.
yeah.
You get your numbers up. Here's one. This podcast will get syndicated.
By who?
Oh no, just We'll be the show that'll be the news on YouTube and on CNN or MSNBC because it's up for sale.
Yeah. I Oh, okay. So since you stole my last prediction, legitimately, the last thing that I was going to predict was that I was going to go on dates this year, just as my boldest prediction of the bunch. I'm gonna take my last prediction and I'm gonna shift to, um, in 2025, we will make at least $1 doing this podcast.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
At least
that's gonna
well,
require you.
that's a
That's gonna require
that's
you
a
to set up.
bold.
Yeah, that's gonna require you to set up an LLC though. So we're already back a few dollars in your setup of an LLC. But you have a
I Yeah, it's not a crazy amount to set up an LLC, and we are not going to make just $1. We're gonna
Yeah,
kill it.
but
We're gonna
we have
crush it.
to make more than what it costs to set up the LLC. So, um,
Which is it's not a ridiculous amount of money to set up an LLC if you're
yeah.
willing to do the paperwork yourself.
With that being said, Dad, it's been a lot of fun. And the predictions,
Goodness.
as wild as some of them were, as crazy as some of them seem. I want you to finish this episode as I've asked you to finish episodes in the past. And I would really prefer it if you would give me a promo, the best WWE voice you can come up with. But give me some dad advice to finish the episode, and then we'll call it a day.
So, dad advice, some good dad advice. Always wear fresh socks and keep fresh underwear in your underwear drawer because you never know when you're going to need them.
Man, you had the perfect opportunity to give me advice on how to maybe meet the woman of my dreams, or um, sweep somebody off their feet, make my mom happy. And your advice
so,
was, do your
so,
laundry,
so
son,
here's so here's some
and
advice
keep
on that.
fresh socks on your
So,
feet.
so, so,
Your
so
advice,
here,
your advice has been received. I really appreciate it. That
so,
was great advice, Dad.
so,
Awesome.
350, Christy. No, that's not. No, yeah, we can cut that out.
I'll have to tell that story for the podcast listeners at some point.
Okay, but not tonight. We've been on over
Well,
an hour and 15 minutes to be exact.
Ben on seems like you were really bringing it to us. Um,
And I can't wait till see what 2025 brings.
yeah, man. Hopefully, it doesn't sneak up behind you and sucker punch you in the face.
Sucker punch you right in the face. Hey,
Yeah.
love you too. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.